Hi, this is the second film in improving one's Aikido. If you're a teacher that is listening to the ideas I have and you want to put some energy into improving the students in general, or you may find that one or two or even one has that little bit more to demand from the Aikido that they're doing, then you could perhaps watch them and push them while they're doing their ukemis. So on the first film I said do 25 forward ukemis non-stop and then increase them in quantities of 10, and backward ukemis starting with doing 10 and then increasing them as you feel. I would say increasing them in 5s after that rather than the problem is until they work out what way to turn their head is convenient and they don't go over like a square brick, and they can make a nice smooth roll of their body backwards, then I think it should be done slowly. You don't want to demoralise anyone, and if you're a student listening to this, then you don't want to be demoralised yourself. So while you're trying to become smoother, you want to go past the disorientation stage or dizzy stages, and that's why I'm making this program for those people who like their lifestyle just doesn't happen to allow them to go off to Japan, America or anywhere that's offering an uchi-deshi long-term program. You'd like to improve but you'd like to also live and work, and your commitments to family or whatever it may be that doesn't allow you to just go off as a free person and take a sabbatical for a year or a few months or years in some cases. That has been in the past. You don't often hear now, or I don't, of a long-term uchi-deshi because life seems to move on. Okay, so I started with the ukemis because this will tone up your buttocks, your body. You will get fitter, you'll get better breathing, lung power, and it will give you an all-round much better fitness. What you can do at home, hopefully if you have a garden or space you can find outside, you can do the Ken or Jo. If you need to know katas, there's plenty of films out there. I've got some on the Iwama.com website that you can follow, and try not to worry about doing the whole kata. Learn just a few moves, perhaps the first 5 moves of each kata. We created a 6-count kata, Jo kata, but that's taken from the 31, as I've said in other films. It's from number 12 to 18 in the 31 Jo kata, but we call this a 6 Jo kata. It's simple to learn, it gives you a good feeling, and in time you'll build up speed and feel like you're getting somewhere. The 7 Ken Saburid I think are really good for challenging you. So you're doing the ukemis when you get chance. Some people actually buy a few mats and they put them down in one of the rooms of their house and they do their ukemis this way. And if you have the space and want to buy a few mats, then there's a company that will sell you them. I think they're called Canon mats. Anyhow, you can find them in the UK, I know, but most people can find mats somewhere, metre by metre. Doesn't take a lot to store, just a few, just for yourself to do your ukemis on. Any kneeling work that you might want to do, shiko, walking on your knees, anything that you need mats for. You can do this in your own time. If you can snatch the odd half an hour, that's really all you need but you could train daily if if you have a partner or a family. They may allow you half an hour to have your own space. That's obviously up to you. So you don't have to do all the 7 Kensaburis, but what I suggest is you do at least the first 5, but the 6 and 7 have the skis added to them. So why I'm saying the first 5 is because they're just really all about Saburi cuts. Do all 7 if you've got time. But like with the build-up of ukemi, I suggest that you do the first 2 Kensaburi until you're really satisfied. Try to aim for 5 of each. Now you may think, well, that's not many, 5 of each, but out of those 5 Saburis, I'd like you to aim for 3 Saburis that felt exactly the same. Once you can get to 3 Saburis that felt exactly the same out of the 5, so you do the 5 straight off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say that was the first Saburi. The brain will tell you how it felt, and you'll know straight away whether they're feeling individual or whether they're feeling continuously the same feeling, the same swing rate, the same grip rate. There's so much that your mind will be giving you feedback, and you'll know. And I found by giving this to my Uchideshi that live with me, they find it very challenging once they get used to realising that 3 is hard to repeat identically the same, with feeling, understanding, swing, timing. I don't even know after 50 years of Aikido whether I could get 5 Saburis all feeling the same. I haven't done it for some time, so perhaps I'll make my own test and try that. If you can get 3 out of 5 feeling the same, you're doing really well. Do this with every Kensaburi. Of course, you can't do the second Kensaburi if you've got inside the house, if you've got a ceiling, because you won't be able to lift it. But the first Saburi should be able to be done in most ceiling heights, but caution is test it out slowly first. If you get carried away, you might be hitting the ceiling and causing me to get in trouble as well as yourself. Okay, so that's the system. There's the whole 7 Saburis. Do them individually, one at a time. If you can do them nightly, then that's what I recommend. It will help with the ukemi's building your mass. You will feel more stable in your posture. Your transfer as your feet move while doing the Saburis should become smoother, and you should find that you're gaining a better understanding of stability and depth as you cut, and your frame, your jigata as we call it, your frame from your hips down through the legs into the feet should become much stronger, more stable. So that's it for this film. Do the katas and the Joe katas in the same way. Try to do piece by piece. Again, I suggest you do the first 3. If you're perhaps a downgrade, been doing Aikido a long time, do 5. But just because you're a downgrade of many years doesn't mean to say that you're not getting it wrong, and you need stability. So if you're doing the Joe, any Joe kata or Joe Saburis, I suggest you just do 3. So let's say you do the first Joe Saburi, Chokuzuki. If you can get 3 the same as the Ken out of the 5, So you're aiming for 5 tries of it. And then you're counting how many feel the same. If none of them feel the same, your aim is to get 3 that feel the same, exactly the same, without mental criticism. When you've done that, go on to Kaishizuki, Ushiro ski, and so on, ski Genengashi. So don't be in a rush thinking I'll try. The mind will push you and say, oh, I'll do 5 Josuburis, the same as with the Ken. You'll want to push yourself, just see if you're better at some Suburis than others. But this process I'm trying to give you while you're in the environment of not being able to train in a far off land, in a dojo, and immersing yourself, I'm trying to give you the understanding that I've seen my long-term students develop, and most of that means that you have to do self training in your own time. That's how you get better. You don't get better by just thinking about it. You have to spend thinking time and dedication time to the actual doing. So please don't be in a rush. Your aim is for 3 out of the 5 tries of each Suburi, Ken or Jo. When you get 3 that feel the same, I suggest then you go to the next stage or the next Suburi. Like I said, with the Jo Chokuzuki, do 5. Once you get 3, it might take a month, it might take years, it might take only a few days if you're very lucky. I've not been that lucky. Then when you get 3 out of the 5 that feel the same, go to the next Suburi. What I will say is you don't just do the 5, you might do the 5 20 times in that 30 minutes that you've dedicated yourself to do it. So you just keep repeating it 5 times. How many did you feel were the same? Small pause, small break, just even if you close your eyes, breathe out, break like you're breaking the sequence, put your Jo down or hold your Ken and start again. So a small break in between each of the 5, but on the same Suburi for 30 minutes a day. If you can't give 30 minutes a day, give what you can. If you do it correctly, 30 minutes will be plenty. If you can give yourself an hour, then you'll be very lucky. But you'll find that you'll more likely criticise yourself too much if you give yourself too long a period. If you condense it into a shorter period, you'll find that that'll be enough to torment you if you didn't get it right, and you'll wonder why you didn't get them right. So I hope I've explained it correctly and clearly. You do 5 of each Suburi chosen. Repeat this daily or as whenever you can. So if you're on the first Suburi today, you do it 5 times and then have a little breather of about half a minute or minute, then do another 5, see if it's the same as the first 5, and then a small breather, then do another 5. You do this with Ken or Jo. You just need to break the sequence, breathe out, open the eyes, start again as if it's a complete fresh start and not just a repetition of swinging the Ken. I've done 5, I'll now do another 5. You must have a short break of 30 seconds to a minute before going on to the next one. Breathe, calm yourself, don't give yourself too much, don't belittle yourself or give yourself too much of a hard time. You're looking for smoothness and continuation of the same feeling, the same swing, the same pace, the same settling of the body. Okay. Thank you for your time.